Alright, grade 7s, we're going to talk today a little bit about divisibility. Divisibility is a pretty simple concept, and you can always check divisibility on your calculator. But we're going to come up with a series of rules. And this series of rules is going to allow us to tell fairly quickly, just by looking at a number, and even a large number, can it be divided by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10. You'll notice we've skipped 7 and we don't have 1, we don't have 0. We'll chat about those later. To start with though, you're going to make yourself a graphic organizer by folding a piece of paper in half 3 times. Okay, so the first time you're going to fold it in half hamburger way, and then you'll rotate it 90 degrees, fold it again, rotate it another 90 degrees, and fold it again. And when you unfold it, it should look something you see on here. So something like this. A piece of paper divided into 8 sections. And what I'd like you to do then is, similar to how I have it on this page, make your paper label each of the sections. And just like I have here, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Leave the backside free. You're going to need that, but not yet. Okay, so pause this and go ahead and do that. All right. Now we're going to take a look at the divisibility rules for 2, 5, and 10. Most of this you're going to do on your own with the video paused, but I'll show you what you need to do here. So what we're going to do is you're going to flip to your numbers chart. So it's a separate booklet that you have. And we're going to go to the page that looks something like this. Except it should be this one here that says 2, 5, and 10. Alright, and you're going to just follow the instructions here, right? So circle each number divisible by 2, put an X through the ones divisible by 5, and shade the ones divisible by 10. Alright, so I can show you on a few of these, right? We're going to circle the ones divisible by 2. Come on. Take a look here. So this is divisible by 2. And you should notice something about these pretty quickly. Lovely. X through the ones divisible by 5. There we go. There we go. There we go, etc. There we go. Again, I'll let you guys finish this off. And then shade gently. I can't really do gently on the computer screen, but shade the ones divisible by 10. So here's one divisible by 10, divisible by 10, divisible by 10, and so on. Alright, so pause this, finish this up for the entire chart all the way to the bottom, and then you're going to flip back to your other booklet, and we'll deal with the questions then. Alright, so if you haven't paused, make sure you do that now and actually finish that chart. Just don't go to this here and say, hey, I'm going to get the answers, because it'll make a lot more sense if you've actually done the work. Alright, so if we take a look here, circled numbers are divisible by 2. Look at the last digit of each of these circled numbers. Are they even or odd? Hey, you're going to notice something about those. Those are all even. Numbers with an X are divisible by 5. Look at the last digits of each number with an X. What do you notice? Guess what? It's either a 5 or a 0. Alright, so make sure you get those down. Pause if you need to. And we're going to move down. Got a couple more questions here. Shaded numbers are divisible by 10. Look at the last digit of each of those. What do you notice? Hey, guess what? It's a 0. look at the numbers divisible by 10. What other numbers are they divisible by? Well, you should notice that all of them have a circle and all of them have an X, which means they are divisible by 2 and 5. All right. At this point, you're going to stop, and you can do this in your own words. I'll give you some guidance in the video, but you can do this in your own words. You're going to go back to your graphic organizer that you made right here, and you're going to be able to fill out 2, 5, and 10. So don't tell me divisible by 2 as a circle. You're going to say divisible by 2 mean you know it's divisible by 2 if it is even. All right. You know it's divisible by 5 if it ends in a 5 or a 0. So don't just write down 5 or 0. I'm kind of messy on the computer, so I'm just doing this. But you're going to have to say ends in a 5 or a 0. And then finally divisible by 10. Now you could say this a couple different ways. You could say it's even and ends with a 5 or a 0, but it ends with a 5, it's not even. So ends in a 0. Perfect. All right. Once you've got that done, then we are going to make our way past the stop here, move on to divisibility rules for 4 and 8. So here, we want to take a look at this chart. All right, and basically what you're going to do here, sorry, I should look at the, make sure you're going to look back at your instructions here. It says, okay, shade each number that's divisible by 4 and then circle each number that's divisible by 8. Okay, so for these ones here, you, at the beginning anyways, may need to use your calculator a little bit, and that's quite all right. So again, we're going to shade the numbers divisible by 4. So I get my calculator out, say, okay, well, let's start with 1044. Can I divide that by 4? Hey, I can. I get an even number. So I'm going to shade this one. All right. Well, let's just check here. Can it be divided by 8? And I get 130.5. So it's not divisible by 8. I can do that then. 1045, 1046, 1047. All of those ones I'm not going to get whole numbers when I divide by 4. Then I get to 1048. And guess what? I'm going to get a number that's divisible by 4. Okay, you can do that on a calculator. And divisible by 8. So I'm going to circle it. So with that as a basis, you should be able to fill out the rest of this little chart. And then we've got some observations to make about these numbers. So let's go back here. Shaded numbers are all divisible by 4. Look at the last 2 digits of one of these numbers. What is the number formed by these 2 digits? Okay, and there's obviously going to be lots of different ones. So I'm going to start with that first one that I came up with, was the 44. So let's take a look here at 44. Divide this number by 2. Is the quotient odd or even? And you're going to find out it's indeed even. If it's even, divide by 2 again. Is the quotient a whole number or a decimal number? And it will be a whole number. Choose another one. So this time, find a different shaded number. Your choice, divide by 2 twice. Is the final quotient a whole number or a decimal number? All right. Choose a number that is not, this says yellow, it should actually say shaded, so you can change that. Not shaded. Divide by 2 twice. Is the final quotient a whole number or a decimal number? What you're going to find out is that it is a decimal number. All right. Then we move on to the circled numbers are divisible by 8. Choose one of them. Divide by 2. Divide by 2 again. Okay. So after we divide by 2, we'll find out that it's even. So again, if we started with 1048, we divide by 2, we get an even number. If it's even, divide by 2 again. And what we're going to find out is that our quotient is even again. And we'll divide by 2 again, and we're going to find out that we have a whole number. Lovely. Choose another circled number. Do the same thing, and what we're going to find out is that, in fact, yes, it's a whole number. Now, the cool thing is, with both of these, and I made it clear at the top here for the ones that are divisible by 4, looking at the last 2 digits, you can do that down here as well. Okay? You can look at the whole circled number. You can also look at just the last digits. Same thing here. This allows us to make some divisibility rules so answer number 14, pause, oops, slow down, pause and go back up to your graphic organizer. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, something that's divisible by 4, you can say the last, now there's a couple ways we could say this, the last 2 digits we can divide by 2 and divide by 2. Or you know what? If we're dividing by 2 and then dividing by 2, that's the same as dividing by 4. So one of the things we could also say here is that if something is divisible by 4, the last 2 digits are also divisible by 4. All right. And we can do the same thing if something's divisible by 8. Again, it's last 2 digits. And here we can, I'm not filling in the whole thing. I know you can write more than I am here. Last 2 digits, we're going to divide by 2, and divide by 2 again. Okay, and what that tells us is that it's been divided by 2, divide by 2 again, okay, that's dividing by 4, divide by 2 again, oh, that's like dividing by 8. And so what this is actually showing us is if we can take the last 2 digits of a number, we don't have to worry anymore about whether we can, all of the ones at the beginning, we need to just be able to look at the last 2 digits, and that makes life real easy for us, which is quite nice. All right. Let's move on to the 3s, 6s, and 9s. Alright, so we've got the 0 to 99. Circle each number that's divisible by 3, X if they're divisible by 9, shade if they're divisible by 6. Alright, so again, that's going to be on this one here. We're going to circle if they're divisible by 3. I'm not doing all of them. X if they're divisible by 9. Hey, 9 is divisible by 9. So it's 18, so it's 27. And then we're going to shade if they're divisible by 6. So there we go. There we go. There we go. And you guys can keep going. Make sure you fill this out again. Circle the ones divisible by 3. X through the ones divisible by 9. Shade the ones divisible by 6. Alright. And we're going to take a peek back here. Alright. Calculate the sum of the digits of a few of these numbers. Okay. Continue to calculate the sum of the digits until you get a 1-digit number. What number other than 1 is each sum divisible by? Okay, that one takes a little bit of thinking about. But one of the things that you should find out is that the number 99, for example, has a circle around it. Okay? So sum of these digits, 9 plus 9 equals 18. Is this a one-digit number? No, it's not. Okay. I better put a plus sign in there, otherwise that does not look like a good equal sign anymore. Now, 1 plus 8. Because 18, right? The digits are 1 and 8, so 1 plus 8 equals 9. Hey, if I look at this, that 9 is divisible by 1, obviously. It's also divisible by 3. It is divisible by 9. But let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at the number 57. Okay. So 57, digits are 5 and 7. 5 plus 7 equals 12. That is definitely not a one-digit number, but I think it's pretty easy to see. 1 plus 2, look at that, equals 3. And 3 is also divisible by 3. All right. Numbers with an x divisible by 9, you're going to essentially do the same thing. Calculate the sum of the digits of a few of these numbers. Well, let's look at 81. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 is definitely divisible by 9. And what we're going to find out, and we could do this even with really big numbers, same thing for the 3s, same thing for the 9s, is that if we add up the sum of our digits, it will be, if it's divisible by 3, the number itself is divisible by 3. If it's divisible by 9, the number itself is divisible by 9. The cool thing with the 3s, again, is that we can continue adding these up until we get a number that we can actually deal with. All right. Put a vertical line through the numbers divisible by 2. Numbers with an x are divisible by 6. What other two numbers are the numbers with an x divisible by? And what you will find is they are divisible by 2 and by 3. And so what you're going to find out is that if you, my apologies. My instructions are not great, but those are the ones you're going to have. No, we're not saying the numbers with an x. It's the numbers that are shaded are divisible by 6. Okay. What other two numbers are the numbers shaded numbers divisible by? They're going to be divisible by 2 and by 3 because they're going to be even, and they're also divisible by 3. And that takes us to divisibility by 0. Oh, first, let's go back up here. We've got 3, 6, and 9. So we're going to have something to do with the sum and divisible by 3. Same thing for 9. We've got the sum is divisible by 9. Divisible by 6. They are divisible by 3. So all of these rules. And they got to be even. They're divisible by 2. All right. Again, put this into your own words. It'll make more sense to you if you have put it into your own words. All right. On the back of that page, I said to leave it free. A couple things. Divisibility by 0. Nothing. You can write this in capital letters, big on the back of your page. Nothing divisible by 0. Right?